Yeah, welcome back to Career Build Series. This is episode 105. So I decided to do something a little different here. I did about 6 Career Build Series videos, all on this train that I started building, and it just started to drag out. It was 6 videos, and I finally got it to where I'm happy with it. And so what I decided to do instead was it should be out by this point, but I made a Stormworks Basics steam piston tutorial. And so the train went through a bunch of iterations where it was direct drive. It was me figuring out the steam system, took a lot of time. So it was a lot of me kind of just figuring out the system. And so now that I have the system figured out, I figured what I'd do instead of going through all that, let's go right to the locomotive that I worked on. So this is based off a real Santa Fe locomotive, hence why it's so ugly. Let me look it up. I kind of like the ugly little duckling, the ugly duckling type of trains and builds, and so I'm trying to find the model that I modeled this after. But I made this, tried to make this look a lot like that. If I find the picture, I'll put it up. But so it's kind of ugly on purpose, and so a lot of these videos, again, it was 6 videos, and it was kind of just dragging, trying to get this train up and running. So what I kind of wanted to do was, if you watch the Stormworks Basics video for the steam piston tutorial, essentially I show how to work on steam pistons and get them going and get them set up correctly. And so that's what I essentially have in here. So what I'm actually going to do is instead of utilizing this the way it is, what I'm actually going to do is I'm kind of going to delete all this out, and I will port in the Stormworks Basics model. And what that's going to allow us to do is, instead of you having to watch me essentially learn how to build this, which is potentially entertaining, but it's kind of just I think it was overly long, and it took a little while to get going. And I really want to get actually using this train, so I'm starting to get close to using this train. So what I'm going to do here is, we'll learn about all the elements of the train once I get up and running. So let's go ahead and I'm going to delete all this out, and I'll kind of give you a little tour as we work on the train. I really want to get this into the world. That's kind of my thing. Is I don't want to spend, that was 6 videos, 6 or 7 hours or more of me kind of learning how to build this train. I think what's going to be more productive is me actually coming in and actually just utilizing it, and we'll kind of learn along. And so if you want to actually learn how to build how I built everything, what you can do is you can go in and you can watch that Stormworks Basics tutorial video on the steam piston to electrical conversion. Essentially, I'm just turned it into electrical generator, and that way you don't have to kind of watch all of this. You can you can go right from there. So let's so I'll kind of give you a quick tour of the train. So the train has a sliding door in the back. This is where you're going to be able to fill coal. As you can see, it has some coal bunkers, 3 coal bunkers. That's what's going to feed the system. Under here, it has a large tank for water. This is all going to be water underneath here. It doesn't need that much water, but why not? It's a train. It can haul very heavy loads. It might as well. You notice this shaft in the middle. This is what controls the 2 drive axles. I initially tried doing the pistons as direct drive, and then I kind of decided it would be better to have them as instead of direct drive, have them as diesel electric. Diesel electric's really going to help me to get a better, more controllable train. Part of the reason I decided against going into part of the reason why I decided not to do it the way I did it was it was going to take a ton of time for me to get this train up and running and actually do missions. We're talking, it could have taken 10 build videos for me to get this to where it was ready. So I don't want it to take that long. And so we're going to get moving on this. And so as you see, I've cleared everything out. And so this here is ready for, it's ready for the, almost ready for me to put the Stormworks Basics steam piston tutorial in here. So it took me a bunch of time to get that done. So if you want to actually learn how to build that, go ahead and go in there and let me see. All right, so what you can do is you can go into the Stormworks Basics steam piston tutorial, and that will show you essentially what I did. The rest of the train is simple. It's just me designing and building. Most of what I spent the time on was on the motor anyway. So I'm going to go right in here. This is what's going to be posted to the internet, or posted to the workshop. You'll notice medium battery. We have a generator, all the gearing, all of the pistons. We have a temperature control system. We have a radiator there. We have our firebox here, which I'm actually going to delete that off. And so I'm going to just copy all of this, and this is all going in the way it is. A little bit of change here. This will be, that will be going into the floor as water because I don't need that water tank. So again, you'll be able to, if you want, and you want to see how I built this setup, you can watch the Stormworks Basics video, and that will show you from start to finish in 45 minutes how I did this instead of having to watch 6 videos to kind of see where I'm at. Because a lot of it was me just trying to, figure out the minutia of this. And, well, that could be theoretically interesting. It was just going to take a ton of time and videos to get this done. So instead, I can, as you can see, just kind of copy and paste this and port this right in. This is the latest version of what I've kind of concluded works well, and I will I'll be able to just get this going this way. Let me just do something really quick here. All right. So I just need to kind of chop a couple things off here just to make this fit inside properly. So there we go. A couple things chopped off there. And then I will cut this, and we'll go right in, and we should be able to drop this in the loco. So this is going to be the power unit. Like I went through an iterative process where I was thinking, okay, maybe I want to direct drive this, and then I said, you know what, doing electric is going to be so much better for a train just because I can modulate speed much more efficiently. So what I'm going to do here is next thing I'm going to do is I need to put in some sort of filling system to put coal in here. And so let me quickly let me start cutting a hole in here. I need to see how many blocks high this is. That is 3 blocks high. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a hole in here, and that should be right there maybe. Okay, that's right there. That's where the coal bunkers are for the coal storage. And let's see, I need, I'm just going to type in coal, and I need conveyor duct, or, yeah, coal duct rather. And so the coal ducts are going to go from my storage up into my, up to feed the actual furnace. And so I need to align this properly. See, the alignment's off. Can I go down 1 block on this? No. Okay, see, the alignment is really funky on these. It's not really helpful the way they align these. It's not a huge deal. I just have to, I'm just trying to align the furnace where it will mate up with this fine. So that's fine where it is. Let me merge it, and then I just need to connect the coal to the furnace itself. So, all right. So let me delete out some of this here. That's going to go on top, and then this will come across, and then thinking like that. And then what I'll do is I'll move this furnace up. Again, you can go through the Stormworks Basics for the new steam pistons, and that's, you just saw me drag it in there. That's it has all the information on how I did this and what I did to make this function properly. So that's going to be better than watching 6 videos of me continually changing things to try to make it work better and better, and then come up with new ideas. All right, so I'm just plumbing things back up, and I'll walk you through it as I start to get closer to being ready. And then I'll, once it's up and running, I can explain everything a little bit better. Okay. All right, let's merge those. All right, so we are connected. All right, so I'm going to go through and I will kind of walk you through this. I kind of want these pistons. Do I want them up one? I don't think I can. Yeah, I can put the pistons up one. I'm going to move these pistons up one block here. Currently, as you can see, they glitch into the, or they don't glitch, but the collision goes into the floor, and I don't like that. So I'm just going to move these up so that they visually don't, you don't have pistons going through the floor. Don't think that looks very good. So let me cut this, and we'll move that up one. All right, there we go. And then that's just mostly for visual reasons. All right, and then let's start hooking this back up. So a couple movements here, and then I will walk you through how did that happen. Okay. Okay, I need to, I'm missing a whole piston here. Yeah, I'm missing this piston here. Okay. So if you want to go through and find out why I have 6 pistons, you can see it in that Stormworks Basics video. I just think that's going to be a much better way. I was like, there's 6 or 7 or 8 videos to finally get underway here. It's just, just going to take too much time to get us where we're up and running, and I didn't want it to take that long. So I decided, you know what, let's just kind of cut out those videos, and we will come back to a more, more complete and ready, area. All right, so I'm just replumbing, just a bunch of replumbing here as I kind of decide how I want this to hook up, and then I will do a quick little overview of what's going on here. All right, so we're pretty well connected here. Let's just take a look. All right, so how does this work? Again, follow Stormworks Basics video if you need to. So what we have here is we have a firebox. The firebox is taking coal from the back section here. This roof will slide, and you'll be able to dump coal in here. And then what it's going to do is it's going to go through the conveyor system, across and up, and it direct feeds into the firebox. Then what happens is you have the firebox will ignite, water will circulate through the firebox and warm the boiler. This here is a controller that will automatically regulate the valves so that it maintains the proper temperature on the boiler. If the boiler temperature goes too high, you do not get proper flow of steam, and that will cause your pistons to essentially not work and work erratically. So it's definitely important to maintain your temperature properly. Also, I restrict the temperature of the furnace to 200 degrees. If your furnace, this small furnace, you don't have to worry about too much. 4 blocks is plenty far away that it doesn't warm up your boiler too much. But if you had a large furnace, it can warm up your boiler and overtemp your boiler, and then you don't get proper flow, and you end up not getting good power. So that was all part of the learning process. All right, so your boiler is warmed, steam comes out. I might not even need this pump, so I'm probably going to get rid of it if I don't need it. Steam comes out, it goes up in here. These pistons auto valve, you don't have to worry about it. So you just need to provide steam in on this side. Move the pistons up and down. I did a 6-cylinder. I worked off of a diesel, kind of a straight 6 diesel orientation. That gets them in sync and in balance. And then what I do is I have it going through gearboxes. The benefit of these steam pistons is they're very high torque, but very low RPS. So what you do to convert torque to RPS is gearboxes. Gearboxes facing the engine will convert torque to RPS, and the other way will convert RPS to torque. This side, all the steam comes out of the pistons, and then it goes into a condenser. All right, And so off the condenser here, I'm going to put a, I'm trying to think how I want to cool this. Trying to think, let me check for cooling here. So I'll put some sort of cooling system in there in a second. I want to plumb everything up. So the hot steam, once it's done, it's going to come through into the condenser. Cold water will cycle through the condenser, which will then convert the steam back into water. The water is going to go down, and in this, I have a tank under here that's going to be full of water. So big, large tank gives us plenty of water. And so that just needs to go straight down into the floor. All right, and we'll plumb that here. Okay, it needs to go one block further out. All right, and then this will go straight into the floor. So this is our water out of our condenser. Goes straight into our floor. And we'll just put a fluid port there. All right, and I'm just going to delete a couple here, and I'm going to go ahead and put a pump. Pump will just assure that I get good flow rates. Okay, let's get on. All right, and so that's going to be our pump pulling down in, and then we want to put a, we want to draw water up, and we want to go into the boiler to provide the boiler with water that it can utilize for steam production. So we're just going to go up here. All right. There we go. And then we will just put another port there. And this will take water and draw it into the system. Probably don't need to expel it into a tank, but this is going to definitely make sure we have ample water, plenty of cool water. This is way overkill on water, but you know, if I want to convert this to diesel, that's a great diesel tank. It also looks like it does IRL, and it just kind of fulfills the goal and have plenty of water. It's, you know, it's a big, huge train. It really isn't a struggle for it to carry all that water. So that's going to pump that in. Next thing I need to do is coolant. So let me start looking at how I want to cool. How I want to cool this sucker. I wish there was a coolant section. It would be much easier to find things. All right, so we have a couple ways to cool. We can do air coolant to cool the water. We can do water. I'm going to kind of look at it and decide how I want to do this cooling for my condensing unit. All right, so here's all my fluid stuff. We have air to air heat exchanger, air liquid heat exchanger, air liquid heat exchanger. You know, the radiators are the most efficient. I'm trying to think, I could do that. Let me see what this is going to look like. Could just tack on a radiator there. Could tack that on, or I could do something like, I'm trying to just kind of could do a heat sink. You know, part of it's decoration too, kind of put some interesting decoration on, but I could loop some heat sinks in through here. Just trying to decide how I want to do this. Air liquid. So this is a big intercooler, as you can see, big huge intercooler. That's just enormous. Here's another one that would fit. As you can see, I'm just faking one as a exhaust stack too, so you know, kind of faking some of that as my exhaust and my intakes. Just a bunch of air liquid heat exchangers here, so I'm kind of thinking how I want to do this. Might just go, let me try heat sinks. We have so much water on this, I don't need a ton of cooling really. And so I might just do something like this. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. That will be my cooling for the, that will be my cooling system. So I'm going to do that. It's potentially a little hokey, but you know, part of it is for aesthetic. So I'm just going to go down there, paste that, and then I'll go back up, and I will now have a, theoretically I need to cut this, but now I have my space for where I need to plumb it. So I'm just going to move it up one and paste it, and now I'm going to get my plumbing sorted. So we have A, and these are going to be B, 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 B. All right, so what I'm going to do is just going to kind of loop them, often going in, you know, I'm going to kind of do them in series. So I'm trying to think how to get this to go. What side's that on? That's on that side. So, you know what I'll do here is this is what I'll do. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete here and here. Should have had symmetry on. So I have to re-symmetry here on this side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I want to, I think I'm just going to do almost like a direct line connect on them. So that's what I'm going to do. So you'll see when I get it done what it's going to look like here. So I'll just kind of do this. I missed it too. Let's put them on there. So it's not going to be the most efficient cooling system, but it's kind of aesthetically how I want it. And that's just the main thing for me right this second, what I want to do. Okay, and then I'm going to take some T-piece pipes here. And you'll kind of see what this is doing. All this is doing is cooling the steam. With such a huge water tank, I should have no problem having plenty of cool water that you know, I don't even have to worry about this. But you know, this is how I just want to do it to kind of please myself for aesthetic reasons. So I'll set that like that. Okay, so that's going to be where my cooling goes there. That's going to completely screw everything up. It will. Is that going to screw everything up? Yeah. Okay, I'm not doing that. Sorry, this is just spatially, I wasn't thinking right of how that's going to be. No, that was right. Okay. I had it right. Let me just quickly fix it here. Okay, so this here now is going to go down to there. Okay, and then so all this should be cut, and it'll go down. All right, we'll merge there. That did work. I figured it out the first time, and I just kind of had a little bit of a brain fart. Okay, so now our if we look, we're going to have our exits. So we need to send our hot water in one side and have our cold come out the other. So it doesn't matter, either side here will work for this. So also gives me some interesting piping doing it this way. So okay, make sure symmetry's off. And so this just needs to connect to that, and then the other side will connect to the other pipe. So and then this is going to get me a little cooling. You know, I don't like, you know, everybody, the brother will be like, yeah, the 5x5 radiator is the best. Yeah, well, you know, I'm not somebody who likes meta stuff all the time. You know, I kind of want this to be a little different, and I very rarely use heatsink, so you know what, I'm going to use a heatsink. It's not the most efficient, but it doesn't need to be. It's like I said, I have an enormous water tank, plenty of nice cold water to take into the steam system here. All right, so that's good. I'll end up, you know, I'm gonna have to put in some pumps here in a second, but I will do that in a moment. Yeah, I need to find a 3 section. See, this is tough without, I don't have any 3s here. Okay, let me do this. This one here needs to be fixed, so go like this. Okay, and then that will allow me to put a pump in here. And with just having it as an AB, I can go either direction. So this is going to be, Yeah, we'll just put these regular fluid pumps in here. Okay, that'll go that direction. Then this one here can go this direction. All right. And so that will send the heat sink up on the roof, and that will cycle my cool water to give me plenty of cooling for the engine, or for the condenser rather. All that's doing is cooling the condensers. Short and skinny of that. And we'll kind of cover up all the holes with blocks. There we go. Okay, so that's my cooling system is plumbed. All right, let's just do it. And I just screwed up my exhaust, but I can fix that in a moment. And we'll fix it by just going one block forward. There we go. And now I can replumb my exhaust. All right. All right. And I'll replumb this side here. All right, let's merge that up. All right, so that's good. Next thing I need to do is I need to plumb in my, so this is going to be that color, and that goes there, and that's just my exhaust. So I'm just sending the exhaust through there. This is just for decoration. And I'll just paint that. All right, so now we have our condenser cooling on the roof. So it's kind of an interesting section of their stuff on the roof, really. All right, so we're kind of getting there. Let's get this start hooking up. So what I need to do is I need to move my battery here. So I'm just going to delete it for now. Right here needs to be a motor. And so I'm going to do a medium electric motor has been what I've been using on this train. So there's a medium electric motor. Battery, we'll just do one medium. Again, we're going to be able to keep this one medium battery will run the whole train as long as it's topped off the whole time, which it will be. So that's good. All right, let's start plumbing in some electricity here. As I use this, you'll kind of, I'll be able to, introduce you to the stuff that I would have already shown you. If I had actually published those videos, it was a lot of videos, and it was just it was kind of almost dragging, trying to get this train going. So I was like, you know what, let's just skip that, and we'll go right to there. You can watch the basics video to see how this runs. Okay, so I'll do a quick walkthrough of how this operates. So furnace turns on. The water cycles. We warm the water. I have this set to 115 degrees. Whoa, that's the wrong. Oh no, that's the wrong temperature. 115, not 155. So this is 115 degrees. This is the max I want this boiler. If you get over that, what starts to happen is if you get over 115 degrees, you start losing. You start getting. That's almost like air bubbles. It seems like in the line. And it causes it so that you don't get good steam flow. And if you don't have proper steam flow, you end up essentially your pistons stop operating properly, and you start getting pistons will slow down. You start losing power, and that is no bueno. So we don't want that. All right. So I'm just kind of going through and doing a little bit of painting, coloring here. I like this for my steam stuff. This kind of coal color here on everything. So the componentry will be nice and dark, and then kind of do some lighter walls on this. Really wish we could toggle the arrows. I don't like the arrows to be seen. All right, so and I don't think I need this. Let me delete out this. Let me save it first. Steam local rework, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this pump. I don't think I need it. And if I don't need it, I'll try to get rid of it. I think in the steam pressure alone will be adequate to give me what I need. All right, so get this train up and running. I also made some coal cars for this. And so one of the reasons why I decided not to publish the videos is, you know, part of the goal of the career build series is, you know, I want there to be building, but I also want there to be me actually playing career. And one of the issues with this train was it's going to take a long time to get rolling because I made the cars, but I also need to make a way to load the cars. And then I need to launch a truck and bring coal down from the mountain to go there. And I also need a, you know, I haven't researched the system yet of how to do the track switchers and all that. So I have a lot of stuff I need to kind of just go through. And so, you know, we could spend 20 videos on this train, and that's just too much. I need to kind of expedite it. So I kind of decided to cut out a little of the fluff, I think. Now, instead of spending 20 videos on this train, we'll, you know, I just kind of have it in a better state. And again, a lot of it was me fumbling around trying to learn the best ways to run the steam system. And so now that I've kind of learned, you know, through trial and error and testing of the best way to set up the steam system, you know, and you can go back and watch that Stormworks Basics if you want to learn how this is set up, because I just dragged it right out of there and used the same system. That would be, I think, a more efficient use of time and make it so that, you know, if you want to see the videos, you can see that. All right, good. So let's start connecting up some of the logic. Electricity is pretty simple. I cut something out, so the electricity needs to be reconnected there. All right, so I think most of the logic should be connected for all the componentry here. This toggle button here, I'm going to just swap out for the toggle button that's up front because this one's now finished. And so I'm connecting. So this toggle button is going to be what essentially starts the systems up. And so that's going to go right here, and we're going to grab that. I'll cut that, and that will go into the front section of the train where we'll drive from. All right, and so a very basic cockpit here. I just kind of have it going. And then this is going to be electric drive. At first, I was doing direct drive. The issue with direct drive is, you know, it caused me problems with braking and everything else. So I'm going to do direct drive. I'm going to do electric drive rather. That's going to be just much easier. So what I'm going to do here is go from the medium electric motor right to the throttle. This throttle should be set up correctly, -1.1. Let's go down to 10% on the sensitivity. And thrust. It's not a throttle, it's a thrust. Okay. So this is actually going to be electric drive, but we're going to start up the systems, and that's going to provide all of our electricity. And let's give it a whirl. Yeah, let's save it real quick as Steam Local Rework. Let's spawn it and get going. So let's jump in. All right, we need to go inside here, and I think that's connected electricity-wise. Go back and make sure the furnace is on. Furnace ignition is true. Okay, so let me walk you through some of the systems on what's working here. So this furnace doesn't really need to get all that hot. I've got it set to 200 degrees. So what's going to happen is at 200 degrees, this valve is going to close. And it will open and close and open and close. And eventually I'll set it up so it's a PID-controlled variable valve. But right now it's going to open and close. And that's going to keep the temperature so it doesn't go much above 200 degrees. You'll actually watch, it will stay really close. These two valves will open and close to maintain a temperature of 115 degrees. That's going to be the best temperature I found for operating this system. So you'll notice we're coming up on 200, and as you can see, watch the valve, true false. And you see how it modulates the temperature, keeps it within 2 degrees of my desired temperature. That's hopefully going to save us some coal. We have 778 on board. That's hopefully going to save us some of our coal so we're not burning too much. It's also going to make it so that we're not wasteful. We're coming up at 100 degrees right now. As you can see, we start building steam pressure. All right, so the next test is I took out that pump. I'm going to see if I need that pump. I'll also check some of my new pumps, make sure everything's working. That's good. That's working. That's working. Okay, as you can see, the pistons are starting to move, so I don't need that pump. You see my steam down the bottom. It's a little bit... It's not bad. It's running pretty well. You see the pistons are moving. Pistons, again, they have very low RPS. Look at the RPS, 0.15 rotations per second. But by putting them through all these gearboxes, our final is 35 RPS, which is giving us almost 1,500 SWatts, which is plenty to keep our battery charged. So what we're going to do now is let's go ahead and just run the electric drive system. And that is not connected to electricity. So let's go ahead and do a couple systems really quick here, because I screwed up already. So see these? I just missed the connection there. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's integrate the braking system. This is something I've yet to do. So let me actually save this. And I'll save a backup so I always have one. All right, so let's integrate the braking system here. So what is this? That is Brake Master. Brake Master is what I want. Okay, so let me see. So what I need to do is I need to put in a linear speed sensor, which I have. The linear speed sensor reads off as what's feeding this gauge right here. So let me see. Oh, I don't have I lost my linear speed sensor. So let me put one in. Where do I want it? Doesn't really matter. I'm going to just stick it in the fuel tank. Linear speed. Spell it correctly and it comes right up. Okay. And I'll just stick it right here. It's fine. So this should read positive, negative. Let me double check. I always forget the settings for this. So let me just do a quick test. I want to read positive, negative. And so essentially what I'm going to do is, IRL, you can do regenerative braking with the electric motors. So that's reading a positive number. Let's go in reverse. That should be reading a positive. Okay. I don't want it reading a positive number all the time. Let's go. Absolute should be directional. Okay. And so now what we should be doing is when we're going backwards, we should be getting a negative. So positive number and negative number. Okay, perfect. So what this is going to allow me to do is if I'm going forwards and I want to slow down, I can use the I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Trying to think of the best way to do this. Because I need the brakes to be able to function on the other cars too. So just going to take a little bit of info from me here. So let me hook it up first. So let's take the throttle, or the thrust lever, and hook it up there. And then you'll notice the, what's this Brake Master hooking up to? It's, okay, so I need to make that wider, and then I need a number output to brakes. And so this is going to control the brakes for the locomotive. The composite signal there will send the brakes to the connectors for the other cars. And so when I go in here, it shouldn't say brakes. That should say thrust. Okay. I'm trying to think the best way to set this up. All right, so I also need to read the linear speed on this. So let's do that. Add linear speed. So we'll read a number, input linear speed. Okay. So essentially what I want to do is when I put the thrust lever forwards, I want it to make me go forwards. When I put the thrust lever, let's say we're traveling at 50 miles an hour forwards and I want to start to slow down. I'm going to bring the thrust back, and trying to see how to do this. I could PID control now. So essentially what I want to do is, as I want to slow down, I want to go negative. Actually, I think I could probably do this pretty simply here. I'm trying to think. I might do this more like an actual train where you have... Yeah, see, the train I think has a single throttle. I'm not exactly sure how it always works. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so we'll do it with some graders for now. So if the thrust is greater than 0 and the linear speed is greater, the thrust is greater than 0, the linear speed is greater than 0. And we need a numerical switch box. I'm just kind of thinking through it, and then I will kind of clue you into what I'm doing. Okay, if the thrust is greater than 0 and the linear speed is greater than 0, we want to switch this on. And I want to do a function. Trying to think of the best way to do this. Essentially what I want to do is, so if I put the thrust lever forwards, I want the train to go forwards. But then if I bring it back, I both want it to put the motor in reverse, and I want it to, I might be able to do this more simply. Okay, so if the thrust is greater than 0, and the linear Okay, I think I know what I want to do. Okay. If the linear speed is greater than 0 and the thrust is less than 0, i.e. we have the handle backwards, I want to start adding some brakes. And okay. And so what I'm going to do is it will be a positive braking force. So essentially, if I'm going forwards, and let's say I'm going 50 miles an hour, and I bring the thrust backwards, right? What it's going to do is it's going to say, hey, add brake, and it's going to put in brakes. And then once I reach essentially 0, it should give me 0 brakes. So it should like auto shut off the brakes, and then I'm back to controlling with just the motor. And then what I want to do is it's a little complex, but we'll see how it kind of shakes out, and I'll clean it up a little bit. And then I want to do the opposite here. And this is for if I'm going backwards. So if, and then these should be swapped here. Okay. And so now if the thrust is greater than 0 and the linear speed is less than 0, so we're going backwards and I put the handle forwards, it's going to brake us the other way, essentially. And then that will be positive, right? So I will not need the inversion. So that will go like this. And then that will go like that. So that should hopefully control my brakes. I didn't explain it very well, but hopefully I can show it to you. And it'll make some sort of modicum of sense. So loco brakes are going to go here. And then so essentially what I want is I want the brakes to shut off once we get around 0. I don't want much braking force once we get there because I want to control with the motors. And then this here is linear speed sensor. Is going to read off the linear speed sensor. That's the fluid sensor. There's linear speed. Okay. And then what's happening here is the composite is going to send brakes out the connector, and that's going to tell the cars to brake. Cars don't have any motors on them. They're just going to be braking. So as you can see, that goes right here. Whatever this is, it's going to go and send it to the brakes. So I think I want local brakes here. And so instead of going thrust, I want local brakes to go there. That's better, I think, there. There we go. Okay, let's update that. All right, let me test this out. So I made a mess of explaining it, but it should work in theory. All right, so I don't need to fire up the motor. This is just electric brakes. So. All right, so as you see, we're going ahead. I'm just going to do something really quick to make this a little bit easier. Let's go data. What is that? That is 1. What is 1 control? 1 is controlling the horns, okay. Let's do 2 and 3 maybe. So 2 is going to increase throttle. 3 is going to decrease throttle. Where is it? Right there. And then I need to make sure that they're 1 is push. That's horn. All this will change. I'm going to put in a full panel and everything. So that's increased thrust. That should be a push. This is decrease thrust, and this should be a push. Okay, let's try it now. This will just let me control up the seat. I will change this at some point. But I just want to, I don't have to control both brakes and the motors independently. This will allow me to control them together. So let's go up 2. As you can see, we're going forwards. I should be able to kind of slam this in reverse, and it will give me both brakes and reverse motor. That's important because I need the cars to also brake. And so I'm not completely thrilled with the way it's working because okay. I also need to have something that if it's set to 0 that it puts on like almost like a parking brake. So let me see. So we'll do one more numerical switch box. This will be kind of like a parking brake. Okay, and then so this is going to be a constant number. We'll do 0.1. So this will be 10% brakes at 0. And then so we just need a threshold gate. If thrust is set to 0, and again, I'm going to probably change up the way the throttle works later, but I just want to I want to get the proof of concept because I want to get this out and I actually want to do a mission with it. That's kind of why I cut out all those videos, was it's going to take us forever to get to a mission. I wanted to get a mission in, so I want this train kind of running. All right, let's slowly bring it down to 0. 0 should set like almost like a parking brake. Okay. So it needs a little bit more power on that braking. So let's go here to 0.35. That's fine. 3.25 is fine. All right, so let's bring it down to 0, and it should stop us. Hopefully, I want to take a little bit of time to stop, but not a ton. So see, it's applying the brakes. Not very quick, it isn't. So not the best system. I'm going to have to work on this, but I don't want to See, like if I slam it in the reverse while we're going forwards, it's going to really apply the brakes hard. Okay. Not the best system. I'm going to have to work on this. Okay. Not really happy with that. I'll have to figure something out later. Yeah, I'll figure something out later here. I'll see what I can do, but just want to kind of get this moving. All right, so we have a system that's working. That should charge the batteries up. Let's save this. Let's couple some cars and go do a quick move. I just want to test it out. I just want to get this in the game and get it in the build series and get it going. Okay. So I'm going to go spawn the other, my coal cars. So I made these coal cars. They're just pretty simple. They hold, I don't know, we'll see when I spawn it, what they hold per car. I have yet to test this system with it full, so that's 3618 per car. And so let's see if I can get these to connect pretty easily here. All right, let's get back in here. See, my brake's not even working at that. I need to fix the threshold. Alright, so this should be slow enough I can get out and walk next to it and just kind of watch a couple. Yeah, and I'm going to have to work on this. This isn't working as much as the way I like it, but I need to work on it. So this here, I think I'm going to do relays so these always align properly when they're not connected. So, all right, they'll connect here in a second. There we go. Okay. So there's that's a train car connected. Let me pull it up, and then I will. Let's grab 3 cars. That's what I've been testing with, and if 3 cars work, I can. I just want to get a speed test in mostly. Now let's go back at 0.01. That will eventually start bringing us backwards, and I can go hopefully spawn this last or the next car, and that will come to connect. All right. So we'll go back to the train, get that coming here. That is yet to reverse itself. So I think what I'll end up doing is probably have this set as a where it probably get this set up where it actually is kind of a speed associated with it, but I need to figure out its speeds. Yeah, so the other thing, what I'm going to do is power these pivots so they always point at 0, and then when that way they'll connect readily, and then once they connect, they'll send a signal, hey, disconnect, or hey, you know, flow freely, essentially. Okay, let's go forward just a hair. Try to get these to snap together here. I just missed it. Annoying. Yeah, I need to definitely put that system in because I'm going to be back and forth all day here. We'll connect this car, and then I'll go ahead and we'll do a speed run. Whole point of me flying is to get there quickly, and it's just being slow to get me there. Okay, I'm going to manually align these. There we go. Okay, let's just take these two cars here. I just want to do a quick run to make sure this is going to function properly. Let's go ahead and get the electrical generation system going here. We're already down to 60% battery, which is expected. Yeah, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make that thrust a speed. So essentially, you know, I want a maximum, say, I don't know, 30 miles an hour in reverse, maybe 120 in forwards, and then, you know, if we're going forwards to be really fast, it will be a function if I throw it in reverse, essentially. Alright, so we've got our electrical generation system. I shouldn't need to come back here and babysit it. I should be able to go up front and, you know, until I put electrical gauges in, I can kind of read it there. You see we're still losing electricity. Once that system kicks on, we should start gaining electricity really quickly. And so I'm just going to put us a little bit in forwards here. We'll go 11, and then you'll know that's running once the electric starts going up. You'll know the generator's going. It takes a little while because the boiler has to get up to over 100, then it has to get up to pressure before it even starts moving those pistons to run the. See, look how fast we're gaining electricity now. See how we went from like 60 all the way up to 80 right off the bat, and we're almost full. So let's start going. And see how much electricity it's producing? I'm using a lot of electricity and it's still... Okay, we're just gonna... eventually I'll put an anti-slip system on. Alright, so we'll do a quick run of Komodo. So that's about double, so we're over 50 miles an hour right now. Squealing wheels. Still squealing, so we just need to get up to where we're not squealing wheels. 50 miles an hour is pretty respectable so far. This section here, this curvy section, will tend to squeal our wheels if I go more than what I have thrust-wise now. Yeah, see, once we get to 55, we start squealing. So I'm going to keep it at 50 until we get kind of on a straight patch. We're still doing 50 miles an hour, so. But you can see how far we've gone already. We've gone from here all the way around the horn. So coming up on a straight patch, I should be able to start giving it some thrust. And let's check our electricity. Still 100%, so we're producing a ton of power on that generator. So it's all squeal there. Should be able to eventually get this up to speed where I don't squeal as much, but we shall see. Might need more double locomotives to get going. I have to put another loco in maybe. So that's like 6,000 coal there. Over 6,000 coal. So let me kind of run a little math here. What's the value here? That's 537 almost. $1.53. So we'll do 536 minus $1.53. It's going to be 3.83 times, it's over 6,000, so we'll do 6,000. That's talking 22,980 to do a run with the train. Now we're going to have to take, we have to go up, get a truckload. So what I think I'm going to do is I want to build a vehicle that goes through the tunnel, grab a quick coal, come over and dump. So I need to create another vehicle, which will be entertaining. You know, like I was saying before, I like to have kind of a suite of vehicles where I can, you know, do whatever I want to do. And so, you know, whatever mission I feel like doing, that will allow me to do it. So let's check on our electrical production. Still really good, making 1,500 S-watts. Working well. Really like these new steam pistons. So I need to look up, you know, I don't know much about trains. This is literally the first train I made. So I made one, but I never got it going. I just made the shell of it. But, you know, we're going over 50 miles an hour now. It was a 2.2 something. Let me check out meters per second to mph. 2.28, 2.23. So, yeah, we're doing like 57 miles an hour, somewhere in that neighborhood. So not terrible, but we start getting some squeal. Need to kind of wonder if we need a second locomotive to kind of get that up. We'll see. Maybe, I don't know, gear the electric motor, I'm not sure. But you can see we're producing more electricity than we need right now, so a bunch of places to go with this. Technically, you know, I need to, next thing, what I'm going to do in the next video, I'll start talking about next video here. I really need to work on the switchers. So essentially, this is pretty, I wouldn't say it's ready. This is very close to being usable, and in the sense that I can, if I could get a screenshot, please. In the sense that I can take this out, and I can take a good bit of coal and do some trading with it. The issue I have now is I have nothing to load it. So that's, you know, right now I can go back and forth to Komodo. I need to put in a track switcher. I have yet to figure that out. Let's hit the horn. I don't think I can do it with the camera mode. Am I in the seat? Okay, the horns aren't working. And so I need to put some sort of track switcher in, so I need to figure out how that works. And then that will allow me to, hopefully we can go up to the Arctic. Arctic is going to be profitable. I need a little speed to get up there. You know, so I also need to figure out how to not get wheel squeal. I don't know if it catches up or not. Yeah, so not a train guy yet. I need to kind of research some of this stuff. But yeah, so definitely don't want a ton of wheel squeal. That's just killing our speed. Yeah, so I'll look into that, and then I really need to work on this drive system a little bit more. But what I think I'll probably do in the next videos, again, like I said, I did like 6 or 7 videos on this train, and most of it was me essentially trying to figure out how to get the steam system to work properly, and so that's kind of blah. So I think in the next video, what I'm going to do is do a little bit of buttoning up on this train, and then what I'll do is I'll do a little buttoning up on this train, get it so that we can use it, and then I'm going to try to build a vehicle that I can go and load this train with. And so what I need is something with a coal spout on it, or an apparatus, maybe an apparatus that will fill the train, and that way I can actually get us where we, you know, I can fill this train up. All right. So I think that's what we'll do in the next one. So see you in the next one.